In this easy to follow tutorial, I'm going to show you how to design this awesome thumbnail entirely with Canva. And along the way, I'm going to give you some strategies, tips, and tricks on how to create better thumbnails. Let's go. What is up, everyone? Ronnie here, your go-to Canva guru. Welcome to our channel. If this is your first time, this is your gold mine of Canva tutorials. We have over 500 tutorials right here. Today, we are talking thumbnails because thumbnails are so important in order to get your content clicked on and viewed by your audience. So we are going to jump into Canva and reproduce this exact thumbnail you are seeing right now. We will be proceeding from scratch, so starting from a blank page, not a template. This thumbnail is actually inspired by a thumbnail designed by Canva that I found on their YouTube channel. So this is Canva's official YouTube channel. You see these two thumbnails right here. So this is what inspired me. I thought, oh, that's a really cool thumbnail. Can I reproduce something similar entirely with Canva? So that's what we are going to do in this tutorial. I am going to be using my Canva Teams account. So it's a paid account, or if you have Canva Pro, you can follow along this video if you have Canva Free. It's just that I'm going to be using a few different features that will not be available for free users. All right, let's jump right in and start by analyzing this thumbnail right here. When we look at this thumbnail, we feel quite comfortable. I feel quite comfortable because there is not too much going on. It inspires professionalism, probably due to the fact that it's not packed with elements, okay? There's a lot of negative space or white space going on this design, or the white part right here. The background also is colorful, but there is a lot of empty spaces. Also, there is a high emphasis on the person, so in this case me, and there are some elements that kind of remind us of the Canva interface, right? The user experience while designing in Canva. For example, the little cursor right here with your name, the fact of highlighting a word, so you highlight a word before changing its color, before maybe applying an effect, but also the text right here on the thumbnail. Canva for absolute beginners. I know exactly who this tutorial is for. Before watching the video or before taking this course, this is actually a thumbnail that I plan on using in a course on Skillshare. So yeah, I think this is a very powerful thumbnail for all of these reasons. So now that we know why it's good, let's try to reproduce it. All right, so let's start with the background of this image is actually the official gradient from Canva. So it is what you see right here on the top navigation bar. And the good news is that you can find this gradient in the Canva library. So we are going to head over the Elements tab right here, click on it, and just search for Canva. Okay, Canva. I already see some graphics that have some gradients in them. Let's click on See All to see if we can find a similar looking gradient. So these ones are cool, but the purple color right here is not really what I see when I open Canva. Now, this one right here, if I click on the three little dot, Canva background gradient, it's much more similar to what I see here. So I'm going to add this to my design, okay? Position it right here in the corner and simply cover my entire screen. I'm going to zoom out a bit because I don't have enough space right here to see everything. And there we go. This is what the background looks like when I stretched my gradient so that it fits the entire page. And I know YouTube and Canva alike would recommend different dimensions for thumbnails. So if you type YouTube thumbnail in Canva, search for templates, take this one, for example, you see 1280 by 720. But I like to work on my thumbnail with the 1920 by 1080 resolution. It just makes them bigger, of higher resolution, and I don't know, it's just the dimensions I've always been using. It won't change a thing because the aspect ratio is exactly the same as the one recommended by both YouTube and Canva. So that's just a personal preference. If you pay close attention, you will see this kind of like shinier circle right here that irradiates on the entire thumbnail. So maybe I could move it slightly like so, but I kind of like that the light is coming from there. So I'm gonna leave it like so for now. I think this will look good. Okay, so this is the base of our thumbnail. Now there is something else on this thumbnail. There's a big white rectangle that kind of gives me a framework to work with on the image. So in order to create that white space, it's very easy. I'm going to create a rectangle using the R key on my keyboard, make that rectangle white immediately. So just click on the color button, go for white, and then just stretch it all the way to where you want it to be. Okay, so me, I'm just going to make it about this size, and I'm gonna adjust this in a second. Okay, something else that I like doing, been doing this for a few months now. Every shape that I create in Canva, I try to round the corners. So just select your shape and then go for this corner rounding button right here. I usually go for 25, and it creates this nice rounded corners, you see. And I'm going to do the same trick right here. I don't want the rounded corner right here. I just want this to kind of bleed off the page like so. Okay, so this is me respecting the safe zone. You see, the safe zone is going to snap to my rectangle, but I'm going to be a bit loco here and go a bit further than the safe zone, just for the sake of making this a little bit more interesting, less conventional, I would say. Okay, so this is where we are. The next piece of design, the next ingredient I'm going to add is my photo, okay? Because this is going to take a big chunk of space on that thumbnail. So I would recommend, definitely recommend, if you are going to make a lot of thumbnails, to have a folder. I have that folder right here with all of these photos. Originally, they didn't look like that. They had a background. So these are the same things with the background. And you can see on this photo right here, let me bring it. Now, this screen that you see right here is a pop-up green and blue background. If I flip this thing around, it's green on the other side. I purchased that on Amazon for about 100 euros, I believe. It's quite big. So if I'm close enough to the background, we don't see the wall around it. And it allows me to create this chroma key effect once I have my photo taken. So it's easier, I would say, for background remover to get rid of the background because it's a uniform blue background. Now, of course, I'm using some lighting also to light my face, to light me up, like just like when I'm shooting a tutorial, I have two LED panels right there. I'm using the Elgato key lights that I love. They are really convenient, not that expensive. So yeah, this is not sponsored by any of these brands. I'm just telling you what I'm using. All right, so I have all of these photos, and this is me just doing different facial expressions. These are great for thumbnails because, yeah, a YouTube thumbnail needs to convey emotion, needs to kind of give a reason to click. And so if my face is like amazed or worried or sad or excited, these emotions can spread to the viewer, to the audience looking at that thumbnail. So that would be like a little tip I give you. Try to create a folder with 50 or so photos of yourself. Use a plain t-shirt. Maybe if you use accessories like me, I have these glasses, wear them, but don't go too crazy. Try to avoid the distraction, you know, like a black t-shirt or a white t-shirt. It gives viewers the headspace to focus on the person that speaks, not on the t-shirt that might have like 1,000 things going on, or colorful hat that might be distracting. So try to be as plain, in my opinion, as possible, unless your personal brand says otherwise. All right, so that's enough for photos. Let me actually find the photo that I used on the thumbnail that I showed you. The one that I used, I believe it is this one right here. Yes. Okay, so I'm going to use the one with the background because that's most probably what you are going to have on your side if you take a photo on your side. So I'm going to lock this element by clicking on it, 3 little dots, and I'm going to lock it, lock. There you go. So now it won't move again. So I'm going to be using this photo and I want to remove the background. Okay, so this is going to be my first use of a pro feature in this tutorial. If you don't have Canva Pro, you can achieve the same result. Remove the background of your photo by using a few different apps. Under apps button right here, if you type background removal, you will find a few different apps that let you do the same. And similarly, if you go to remove.bg, you can also remove the background of this photo and then re-upload it into Canva. Me here, I'm going to be using my Pro feature background remover that has been kind of my best friends over the years in Canva, and I recommend this feature to everyone. It's a very good feature. Okay, so my photo is here. I have a little bit of the table right here, but it's okay because I don't need that part of the image. I need about this size of the image, and I'm going to scale it up. Obviously, it's gonna come around here, but I want to flip this photo. I want to look the other way inside the thumbnail. So I'm just going to flip this horizontally like so, position myself right here and continue stretching this photo so it looks a bit bigger and I have kind of a more impact on the page. So yeah, I think this is quite good. I'm happy with this. I'm gonna leave it here with the photo. Another thing that I like doing when I use photos of mine after removing the background is to add an outline around my head right here to just make sure I stand out from the background. So here it's not too bad. I could just live with that, but I feel like if I add a little outline, that's really a question of personal taste. I just like these outlines. So in order to do that, very easy, click on your photo, then click on edit and find the shadow effect right here, the little soccer ball. Click on that and you want to go for your glow effect. You need to remove all the blur and you need to add the intensity all the way to 100. Then you can change the color of this outline. Me, I usually go for white. And then obviously you can make it thicker or smaller. I think 15 was a good compromise. So I'm going to stick with this 50 size outline and I am good to go. Gonna click on the arrow and just close that panel right here. I have my photo. It's nicely outlined, so it's sticking out of the photo. Let's go ahead and add the other elements. So if I come back to the thumbnail I am trying to design, I will see different things here. First off, I will see this Canva logo in this word mark format. Okay, so this one might be a little bit tricky to find in the library. We'll see in a second. Then I have text boxes. Okay, 2 different text boxes, 4, and then absolute beginners. I have this little cursor effect, kind of like when you are collaborating in Canva with other people, you have these little cursors with the names moving on your design page. I like that. So let's try to add these. So first the Canva logo, then we'll work on the Canva cursor right here. Canva logo. So it's most likely I will find that Canva logo under elements. So I can type in Canva logo and see what I can find here. Can I find this Canva logo? Find it here, but it's an animated logo, so this is not gonna work. I have these right here. What is this? Yeah, I could use this and then simply reframe the Canva logo so it only comprises the word Canva. That would be one way of doing so. That would work perfectly. So yeah, there you go. Here is my Canva logo. Another way I could have done this is to use Brand Fetch, the app. I use the app and I go to Canva. You see, I have different Canva logos right here. So I could use this one right here. And there we go. We have the same Canva logo. And I could have the same size, replace this one. Actually, I'm going to do this, stick with this one right here because yeah, why not? It's available to me, so I'm just going to be using it. So you see, we have different options to actually grab that Canva logo. Here, again, I use Brand Fetch, which is an app. And this app is amazing. I've reviewed it in a different tutorial. If you're not yet familiar with my Hot New Canva Apps series on this channel, I highly recommend you find this playlist. I will be linking it in the description of this video. I believe we have 11 episodes so far where I review and test the best Canva apps for you. And Brand Fetch is one of my all-time favorites. It's amazing for working with logos. All right, enough talking about other stuff here. Let's come back to our design. The next thing I need to create is this little cursor effect. All right, so I'm going to go and play this by ear, but basically this is an oval with a little cursor arrow pointing. So let's go ahead and design this. I think this is totally possible. So the oval, I think I can create made that starting with a basic rectangle. So again, I'm going to hit the R key on my keyboard. I'm going to create a rectangle like so, maybe slightly smaller, about this size. I'm going to change its color immediately. I'm going to use that orange. You see, I just used orange from my Rondi branded colors right here because orange and blue are kind of like the opposite on the color wheel. So it creates this really high contrast. Just like, it's not rocket science. This is just like color theory. If you take a color wheel, you would see that blue and orange are kind of on the opposite sides. So yeah, just use that for creating maximum contrast. All right, I have an orange rectangle. Now, how do I go from this to a oval kind of like capsule looking kind of bubble? All right, so easy. We are going to round the corners again. So you need your rectangle selected, then head over corner rounding right here. Click on that button and add some rounding. Okay, so at some point about 65, it's as round as it gets. Okay, so I'm gonna go 100% just to be sure, but that is what you get. And if you double click on that shape, you can start writing into it. So I'm going to write my name, Ronnie, like so, and just start like making this bigger, not too big so that my shape is extending. I think it's 30 before it starts expanding. And I'm gonna make my name bold, okay? So there we go. I have Ronnie inside that like rounded shape. And now all I have to do is to add a border. So fortunately for me, there is a border button as well. So I'm gonna click on it and then click on the type of border you like. I want a continuous line. I'm gonna make this bigger, like around 10. Okay, and you can change the color by using this like circle outline icon right here for the border color. I'm gonna make that white. Okay, so now if I move this inside my t-shirt right here, this is what I see. Let me see if I can make this name bigger. So if I bump the size, you see my shape becomes wider, and I don't really want that. I would love to have the same shape, okay, so around 30, this shape, but the name should not change. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to delete this and create another text box. Very easy. Type in my name, Ronnie, like so. Bring it over here. Obviously, this is too big. I'm gonna go for about 40. Yep, and I'm gonna change this font. Montserrat extra bold. I think that's too bold. If you really want to emulate Canva style, you will want to search for Canva Sans. Okay, Canva Sans is Canva's typography, the one that they always use. So that would be the type they use. Okay, so let me make that white. I mean, we could use that. This is nice, but I like to use my own branded font that we use with our Team Rondi, and that is Montserrat. So I'm gonna go for Montserrat for the sake of this exercise, Montserrat bold. Okay, I'm gonna go with this. So now you see what I've done here. I wanted my name to be bigger without stretching my shape, so I just deleted the text within the shape, the one that you can get by double clicking on the shape. I deleted that and I just created a new text box that I added on top of my shape. So now I have two elements right here that I'm going to group. You see, I'm selecting the first one, holding my shift key on my keyboard and clicking on the second one. So now I have two elements selected and I can group them. So now I can move that as one element right here. Perfect. Now I need to design the little cursor thingy that points and that I can move this around my bubble. I'm going to move this here so I can actually see the entire thing right here. This is looking nice. Maybe the border is a little bit too thick. Yep. Maybe let's try 10 or even 8. Yeah, I think 8 is more reasonable, more balanced for this shape. Yeah, this is great. Okay, one last thing I need to do here. I need to make sure this is aligned with my shape. You see, Canva is showing me the assisting lines, the dotted ones, the pink ones. So now it is perfectly aligned. Okay, so I need to group that one more time. There you go. All right, the little cursor thingy. Let's go back to elements and search for cursor pointer, a cursor pointer. You see, this kind of could do the trick. I'm gonna bring this. Okay, so I'm gonna work directly here. This is slightly too big and also not the right color. So I'm going to change the color immediately for this color. Okay, and you see it's slightly too big. What I like to do when I work with details like this, I like to zoom in. Okay, zoom in so you can really see what's going on here. Yeah, I feel like this could do it. Now I need an outline around this. How can I create an outline around this shape? You see, I don't have the options to create an outline. Maybe with shadows. Let's try this. Same thing, the glow, blur amount, none, intensity, full on, color, white. And now I need to have the same width as this other outline right here. So I'm gonna bump it up until I get something similar. So this is what I get so far. This is not too bad, but it's not the same width. So maybe I need to reduce this even further. Okay, this outline right here. So for that, I'm gonna click back on the outline right here and maybe go for 6. Okay, that's still bigger than this. So maybe another way to work with this cursor right here. Let me get rid of this outline. I'm gonna show you a different way to do so. I'm gonna click on it, Command C on my keyboard, and then Command V. I duplicated this arrow. Now this one right here, I'm gonna make white. Okay, just the 2 color buttons right here. I'm gonna turn them white and make this slightly bigger. Okay, and now all I have to do is to bring this other shape on top of the first one to make this a little bit bigger. And now I'm going to use my keyboard arrows to position these exactly where they need to be. Okay, so another thing you could do is to select them both. So first one, holding my shift, second one, and then position, middle, center. Okay, this didn't quite hit the mark because this one right here was still anchored to the bottom here of my shape. So it's about here. Could be pretty much what I need here. Okay, I think this is good enough. And what I'm going to do is to select them both and make that smaller. Okay, I can rotate this slightly and I'm going to group this. Shift key, click on the other shape as well and group everything. And now I have one and only element. Everything is grouped. And if you scale it down, it looks good, it looks decent. So you see different ways to achieve this same result right here, this little cursor. You could have gone with the outline, showed you kind of the beginning of this path. I preferred to go with duplicating the shape and putting it underneath and adjusting to my needs. There is no right or wrong way to do this. It's just like whatever makes you happy, whatever you find easier, just go for that. That's usually how I go about designing in Canva. All right, now we have this. Also, a cool thing about this is that I could just move this arrow anywhere I want. So it gives me a lot of flexibility. I could just ungroup, make sure these two are grouped, like the 2 elements of the arrow separately, and you can move them around and rotate. So this bubble doesn't have to be oriented this way, but that's kind of like how I want it for this thumbnail. I'm gonna put it here. All right, let's have another look at our finished thumbnail to see how we are going to proceed for the next step. So we have the base, we have the photo, we have the little cursor, we have the logo and the background. I believe the last thing we need to do is this part right here with the 2 text boxes and this highlighting effect, just like if I was highlighting this in Canva. All right, so these should be pretty straightforward text boxes and then a line and then a rectangle right here with the right color. All right, let's do this. Okay, I need a text box. So I'm going to use the text button right here. It doesn't matter how big or small it is for now. You see the effect, the highlighting effect. So that's kind of like what I'm trying to do. So the first thing I'm going to do is just, you see this blue color? I need to reproduce this blue color. Now, a hack I'm going to give you, I'm just going to screenshot this part of my screen. There you go. See it right here. And I'm going to bring this straight to my page right here. So now it's here and I'm going to leave this here for now. It's not going to be in my final design, don't worry, but I need this to pick up the color later. So now I'm going to start creating my different text boxes. So the first one says 4 in all caps like this. And we're going to make that smaller, maybe size 60, and not Montserrat extra bold. I think I'm going to go with Montserrat, maybe light, extra light. Let's go for light. Okay. Or maybe let's go for regular. Sorry. Change my mind. Montserrat regular. Yes. Okay. So Canva 4. And then I need another text box. I'm just going to duplicate this one right here. So I'm going to hold my option button and just drag. Okay. Canva 4. Make this bigger. This is justified to the left for absolute beginners. Canva for absolute beginners. Now this needs to be in the same font, obviously. Montserrat, bigger than this. Let's go for 120. Maybe that's too big. We'll see in a sec. That is quite big indeed. But also I see that the font is too thin. Maybe if I bold it, yes, this is much better. Also the line space here is too much. By default, I don't know why Canva gives a line space of 1.4 by default. This is something I've always hated, to be honest. My default would be more around 1.1. Okay, so this is just something that to me makes more sense. Okay, Canva for absolute beginners. I kind of like this. Maybe I push this image together with this bubble down a bit. So I leave a bit more space right here. You see what I'm trying to do here is to create a bit more space between this text and my shirt right here. I don't want it to be too close to one another, just to give this impression of more room for breathing on this design. Okay, so I feel this is good. Maybe I can lower this little bubble slightly more, like so. Okay, this is looking good. I'm going to leave it like so. I'm going to create the rectangle, like the highlight effect. So this effect, pretty much. I need to recreate that effect with the rectangle. So again, I'm going to hit my R key right here. It's going to create that rectangle. And when you highlight, let me try again to see. You see, I have some highlight. It's touching my frame like here. So probably like so, yes, about this size. And on top, let me see. Okay, it goes actually higher than this. So now it's a bit difficult for me to click back on my rectangle, as you can see. So what I'm going to do is to simply use the layers. And I'm also going to use the guides on this design to help me figure out where my rectangle needs to come. So two things, activate the rulers and guides. So in order to activate the rulers and guides, go to your file button, go to settings, show rulers and guides. This will bring on the rulers that you see here, and you can start pulling guides from the rulers right here. And I'm going to place these guides, you see, so they touch the different parts of my highlight here. So all the way to here, and let me highlight. Yeah, okay, so this guide needs to be here, and I believe I have everything I need, but I still need to go get that rectangle, and I can't seem to access it because it's behind my text box. So for this, very easily, I'm gonna use the position button, go to my layers, and bring that blue rectangle right here on top of everything else. And I'm going to use my guides. You know what? I can add another guide right here, like one last guide, to be exactly sure where this ends, like so, all the way here. And now this is when I'm going to be using this guy right here. Okay, this little screenshot I made. Let's make it super big. I'm going to click on my rectangle, the color button, and then create a new color. Add a new color with the little plus button right here, the gradient plus. This will allow me to use the color picker. So grab that color picker and go grab that color. There you go. Now, I don't need you. Thank you very much for your service. But what I need to do is to push this rectangle back underneath my text, right? We need to see the text. So I'm going to go back to my position button one more time and position this one right here. Okay, so now I have everything I need here. Can get rid of these guides. So files, settings, and then show rulers and guides. I don't need them anymore. I could have used like the up arrow and R as the shortcut, but yeah, it's just up to you. Okay, so this looks good. I almost have everything I need here. I just realized this is a little bit too big because it's touching my shirt right here. So two different options. I could select everything here and move myself to this side. Okay, I don't want to move that too much to this side. Maybe this photo of mine should be at 1/3 of the design if we use the rule of thirds. So I'm going to leave it here. What I'm going to do is to reduce these two text boxes slightly. Don't forget the rectangle here, otherwise this is going to become trickier. And I'm just going to make it like so. So now it's not touching my photo right here. Perfect. The last thing, the only thing I still need right here is to have that little cursor right here, the orange line. This is going to be super easy. I'm going to create a line using the L key on my keyboard. So there you go, L key, it's right here. I'm going to use the position button and arrange to rotate this 90 degrees. You see, you can use this to really like make that line rotate exactly exactly like you need it. So gonna make that shorter, gonna take that and simply, you see the problem with these lines nowadays is that they snap to anything. So I pretty much need this line to be the same length of this. There you go. That was easy. But sometimes they snap to things and then after that, it's just a pain to move around. Okay, so I need this line to be thicker. Okay, so click on line style, just play around with the thickness right here. What about 10? Let's change the color to orange first. Okay, this is not too bad. I'm gonna move it slightly to the side and probably make that a bit thicker. Maybe 12. Let's try 12 here. Okay, and again, I'm gonna move it slightly. There you go. Okay, so Canva for absolute beginners. And then I have my name right here. I like that. I think we are good to go, guys. Maybe one thing I could do here is group everything here. So I'm gonna click outside of my design, make sure I grab my little orange line, and I need to deselect my photo. Okay, so I'm gonna hold my Shift key and click on my photo until I only see this selected right here. You see, I have all of these elements right here. I'm gonna group that and yeah, just do a little bit of aligning work, make sure everything is in there. Canva for absolute beginners. I think we are good to go. If we compare this thumbnail to the original one, we see that these two thumbnails are pretty much the same. Maybe the letters here are a bit darker than on the original one. So I think what I want to do is to select all of this text, use the color button right here, use the color picker and go grab some black from this t-shirt. So it's even more consistent. And now I have a very cool thumbnail that I believe will make a lot of people click. And this is exactly where I'm going to leave it for today. Thank you guys for sticking around with me. This was a kind of like build as you go tutorial, but I believe you learn a thing or two about creating catchy thumbnails. Yeah, look on YouTube for inspiration, brands that inspire you, brands that you trust and follow and you know are like staples. Like look at what they do. I use Canva as an example, but look at what they do and then try your own variation. Most of the time you can reproduce these thumbnails with Canva and it's not that complicated. So again, job well done. Try it for yourself. And I'm going to leave you with this playlist right here of other how-to tutorials with me and Diana. I'll see you in the next video.